The sun beat down relentlessly, casting long shadows over the land. The stones were heavy, and the labor was grueling. Each day felt like an eternity under the scorching heat. The Egyptian overseers were cruel, their whips cracking through the air, a constant reminder of their authority. The workers toiled under the watchful eyes of their harsh supervisors. Life for the Israelites was unbearable. They cried out in pain and despair, their spirits crushed by the relentless oppression. Every day was a struggle for survival. In their darkest moments, they prayed for a savior. Their voices rose to the heavens, pleading for deliverance from their suffering. They held onto a glimmer of hope. Hope seemed lost in the dust of their toil. The barren work site was a constant reminder of their plight, and the weight of their burdens seemed insurmountable. A man named Moses, raised as an Egyptian prince, saw their suffering. He observed the workers with a heavy heart, feeling their pain as if it were his own. He felt a kinship with these people, a connection that transcended his royal upbringing. He stood among them, offering words of comfort and empathy. Deep in his heart, he knew they were God's chosen people. He sensed a divine purpose, a calling that he could not ignore. He felt a stirring within him, a call to lead these people to freedom. With a determined look, he knew his destiny was to guide them to a better future. Moses fled Egypt after defending an Israelite. He found refuge in the land of Midian, a distant place. It was here, amongst the sheep and the silence, that God called to him.
Moses saw a bush. The bush was engulfed in flames, yet it did not burn.
Moses, Moses, come closer.
God spoke to Moses, calling him from the burning bush. He gave him a mission, a divine purpose to fulfill.
Go back to Egypt. Free my people from their suffering and bondage.
Moses was afraid. He argued with God, doubting his own abilities, but God reassured him, promising to be with him. Moses found strength in his faith.
Moses stood before Pharaoh, his staff raised high. He was powerful and determined. "Let my people go," he demanded.
Pharaoh scoffed at Moses. He refused to let the Israelites go.
Then the Nile turned to blood. Swarms of locusts devoured the crops. Darkness covered the land of Egypt, a sign of God's power. Still, Pharaoh's heart was hardened. He remained defiant, refusing to free the Israelites.
They sang songs of praise. They danced with joy. The air was filled with the sound of jubilation, a celebration of their newfound freedom. The Israelites had endured years of hardship and suffering, but now they were free. Their hearts were light, and their spirits soared as they expressed their gratitude and joy through song and dance. They had crossed the sea on dry land. The waters had parted before them, creating a path to safety. It was a miraculous sight, one that would be remembered for generations. The sea, which had once been a barrier, now served as their passage to freedom. Their God, the God of miracles, had saved them. Moses raised his staff. The sea parted. It was a moment of divine intervention, a testament to the power and mercy of their God. The people watched in awe as the waters stood like walls on either side, allowing them to pass through unharmed. The Israelites walked across on dry land. They were free. Each step they took was a step away from bondage and a step towards a new beginning. The journey was long, but their faith and determination kept them moving forward. The Israelites left in a hurry. They gathered their belongings, packed what they could carry, and set out on their journey. There was no time to waste, as they needed to put as much distance as possible between themselves and their former captors. They followed Moses to the Red Sea. He was their leader, chosen by God to guide them to freedom. With unwavering faith, they trusted him to lead them through the unknown. The Egyptian army pursued them. The Israelites were trapped. Leave, go. The final plague came. The Egyptians were relentless, determined to bring the Israelites back into bondage. But the final plague struck, and it was devastating. The firstborn sons of Egypt, even Pharaoh's son, died. Pharaoh was devastated. he finally agreed. The loss was too great to bear, and in his grief, Pharaoh relented. The Israelites were free to go, and their exodus began.